Alright. Hi everybody, today I'll be showing you guys how to do number 17 from chapter 4. I'm not going to show you the question, but I'll read it out loud. You guys can follow along in your own textbooks. So this question states that you have a kicker who is 36 meters away from a goal. It also tells us that the crossbar is 3.05 meters high. So the kicker is going to kick this ball, hopefully over the crossbar. It is told that it is kicked at 53 degrees above the horizontal. And it tells us the velocity is equal to 20.0 meters per second. Now, we can see here that this is a projectile motion question, and that means we are going to have to deal with both the x component and the y component, which we will handle separately. So starting with the x component, we can find the velocity in the x direction using this formula. We know that the initial velocity is 20 meters per second, and degrees is 53 degrees. Solve that and we get 12.04 meters per second as our velocity in the x direction. Likewise, we can do that in the y direction using a similar but different formula. And we find that our velocity in the y direction is 15.97 meters per second once you calculate that. We're going to set this aside for now and focus on the x component. So we know that the ball will travel 36 meters to get here, and we can also calculate the time that it takes for the ball to travel this distance. The way we do that is by using this formula, which is x final is equal to x initial plus velocity times time. We can solve for time by isolating the t variable, which gives us this formula right there. So before I go on with that, I'm going to do a few things. I'm going to define my diagram as positive that way in the y direction, positive this way in the x direction, and we'll say that our ball is at 0.00 right now. Alright. So now we're going on. Our position final is at the goal, which is 36 meters away, so we can just put that number in now. Our initial position is at the beginning, which is just 0 meters. And our velocity in the x direction we have calculated to be 12.04 meters per second. Units cancel, and we would get our velocity or our time to be 2.99 seconds. So this tells us that it takes 2.99 seconds for the ball to travel this distance to the end zone, or to the goal, I mean. So we can also find how high the ball went in that time interval. So the way to do that is by using another formula. Y final is equal to y initial plus velocity times time plus half acceleration times time squared. Since we're dealing with the y component, we have to factor in gravity, which is the acceleration. So we know, or we can just start plugging in numbers at this point. Our y initial is 0, since that's just where the ball started at. Our velocity in the y direction is 15.97 meters per second, which we calculated up there. Our time is 2.99 seconds, plus half. Acceleration is the acceleration due to gravity, which is negative 9.8 meters per second squared, times time, which is 2.99 seconds squared. So now that we have that, we